Hello everyone, I'm really curious. Can you guess if I am an extrovert or an introvert? Miss Mancy.
As far as I know, you're an introvert.
Good guess, but actually I'm an extrovert deep down. Have you ever felt that personality is such a mystery and hard to read? Some people look outgoing on the surface, yet they often feel lonely and anxious inside. Others seem well organized, but they actually struggle with making plans and keeping their life in order. Sometimes parents find it's difficult to make sense of their children's disposition, while young people also find it's hard to comprehend their parents' perspective. Personality is such an abstract and a complex concept that we often fail to truly grasp. But today, lucky for you, I want to introduce a really practical tool that can help us solve all this abstract idea. Let us grab people's inner traits quickly and understand others deeply. In the past few years, MBTI has become very popular. It uses 8 letters in total to combine 16 combinations to describe how people think, make decisions, and interact with the world. Many people like using it to introduce themselves. You don't need a long explanation, just 4 letters. It doesn't matter if you know little about MBTI. I will explain it clearly for you all. So now, let me introduce myself. My name is Heidi, I'm 15 years old, and I first took the MBTI test in middle school. Since then, I have taken the test several times in different modes and in different stages of my life. But the result have never changed. It was always the same, ENTP. Each letter stands for one side of personalities. Next, I will use my 4 letters as an example to explain the core content of MBTI. The first letter E stands for extrovert. I believe this trait was during my time studying in Canada. At that time, I was in a completely new environment in middle school. Everything felt unfamiliar. The language, the culture, even how people interact in class. I still remember my first week sitting in a classroom, where I didn't fully understand what was being said, but still need to respond, figure things out, and ask questions. If I stay silent, nothing moves forward. So I gradually learned to speak up, not because I was naturally confident, but I have to adapt. That experiences slowly trained me to become more open and willing to interact with the world. That's what we call being extrovert. The next letter, N, means intuition. And it shows in the way I think. I don't just focus on what is directly in front of me. I was naturally try to look for meaning and patterns behind it. For example, there is a story I was read about a black boy who was wrongly shot due to racial discrimination. I couldn't just read it as a simple story. I kept asking questions in my mind. Why did this happen? What led to this situation? What would change if one decision was different? My thoughts was always beyond the surface and trying to find the different possibilities. Then the T stands for thinking. I tend to make decisions more based on logic and emotion. In group discussions or class conversations, I often find myself quietly analyzing ideas. What is strong, what is weak, and what is missing. Sometimes I even question suggestions from others, not because I want to argue, but I want to improve my idea and make it clearer. To me, thinking is like breaking something apart and rebuilding it in a better way. And finally, the P stands for perceiving. This is probably the most obvious of me. While perceiving is defined as being flexible and open-minded, it also naturally comes with a tendency to procrastinate and go with the flow. I don't like strict plans. I often leave things until the last moment. I remember there was once an essay. I just finished 5 minutes before the deadline. And another time, I was still preparing for a presentation just 2 minutes before I had to go on stage. It sounds stressful, but I work best under that kind of pressure. So, when I look at ENTP, I don't just see 4 letters. I see my experiences, especially the time when I had to adapt a completely new environment in middle school. And how those experiences slowly shape the way I think and respond to the world. And that's the most important point. MBTI doesn't define us. It only reflects how I've grown so far, and I'm still becoming someone new. Next, let's take a quick look at the 8 letters on this screen and the explanation of each letter. The other 4 letters are matching pairs with my 4 letters. In a way, each of them is opposite in its own dimension, thus forming 16 combinations. For example, if there is an ISFJ here today, you will find yourself completely different from me. So, after all this, the question remains, why do we even need MBTI? Honestly, humans have always been a bit obsessed with labeling selves. Before MBTI, we had constellations, blood types, birthdays, even quizzes for which Disney character we are. Basically, we've been trying to solve the mystery of who we are by using whatever system we can find. It's kind of funny, because instead of actually figuring ourselves out, we just need the 4 MBTI letters. Next, I want to demonstrate a simple version of applying MBTI in real life. I'm going to need a volunteer, Miss Riley. Let's imagine we're at a wedding party and trying to talk as total strangers. So, I would ask you, how are you enjoying this wedding? What would you say?
The music is great.
That's all?
Well, that's
Okay.
very enjoyable.
That means you're much less extroverted than I am. That means I have kept down a bit if I want to make friends. In case I might scare you, be too outgoing. Next, I will ask another person a different questions. Yeah, Miss Lucas. Suppose we are in a team doing assignment for class. We need to submit an essay for next month. I'm responsible for conclusion, and you're doing a data collection. So, I would ask you, how soon would you be able to complete the data part? What would you say?
Well, I would say that depends on many things.
So, maybe next month or what?
Well, still depends on how soon you can get me your analysis.
Okay. That means your might not be that organized. So, I need to keep an extra eye on the schedule in case we miss the deadline. And we have to see one of the Miss Riley's legendary speeches. Come on, what is rubbish? No excuses. If you have never tried MBTI before, or you're curious about it, after this talk, I will recommend a free website where you can explore it on your own. Please don't surprise or worry about your test results. Accepting your true self is the first step in learning MBTI. And in the end, what I really want to say is this. We are not defined. We are not a finished conclusion. We are becoming more visible and more observant. How we think, how we feel, and how we connect with the world around us can be hinted at this theory. But we are never simple categories. We are not something that can be fully explained. Instead, we are all ever-changing and truly unique. So, maybe the most important question is not, who am I? But rather, am I truly becoming myself? Lastly, I do hope all of you find and understand yourself on your journey. Thank you.